All right, so I'm back. So today I'm going to be talking to you about protecting your kids. So as many of y'all know, my name is Chris. I am a single father. I have what's called extended custody here in Texas. It's the 1st, 3rd, and 5th of each month. From Thursday to Monday is when I see my kids, and then, it rotates every other holidays, the evens and odds per year with my co-parent. All right, so with no further ado, let's hop into it. And remember, this is just educational purposes only. I'm not a lawyer. I am no attorney, so I cannot advise you on legal action or anything like that. But what I can do is I can assist you and I can help you as a single father. And don't forget, ladies, too, if you're a single mom, I can help you somewhat, but this channel is geared towards single men. So with no further ado, let's start off. Protecting your kids. So number one, I want to start with, and I kind of hit on this yesterday with number one, which is education rights. And what I mean by educational rights is basically make sure as a father that you know what's going on with your kids, and as far as educational, because a lot of times the school district, they'll send you emails, and if you check your inbox, it tells you what's going on throughout the school, whether it's PTO conferences, meetings and stuff, or there's some type of where you can be like a single father helping out on campus. There's a program at my son's school like that. And it also sometimes it dictates in where it tells you what the teachers are teaching for that week of school. And every school is different, but generally this is what happens when I receive emails. I'm up to date and I'm up to speed as far as what my son is learning for that week, and a lot of times for the next week following that. And I stay in constant communication with his teachers. I email his teachers quite often. Not only that, another thing that I do is that, conferences and stuff, I make sure I make those open houses, different things like that. So educational rights, making sure that you know what your rights are as far as what the school can and can't teach your kids and what you agree on. You may or may not agree with some of the teaching, so just make sure that you know that. Number two, parental rights. Now, I don't want to get too deep, but I kind of want to hit a little bit on the surface, maybe medium level, because I don't want to go too far because my sons and stuff as far as like where they live with their mom. But what I can say is this. Always remember as a parent that you and your co-parent have the same rights. Generally, us men are paying child support, and the female has a designated residence where it's inside of that school district to where they can go to school and they're just receiving child support. Other than that, most of the decisions are made between equally as far as the parents. Now, what I mean by that is parental rights is there was an incident that happened with my son. Again, I can't get into too many details, but what I can say is that if you have somebody else living in a house with your parent, like with your co-parent, and you don't agree with it, let's say they have some type of criminal background or something like that, it could be sexual abuse, it could be assault or something like that, make sure that you find out the information that you need as far as the person's name, their birth date, and their address, and get their information if you need to go to the court to try to see if you maybe get this person removed because they can be in a danger to your kids, or if you just need to speak to your co-parent about it. There's incidents where I had to speak to my co-parent about a situation where they try to say what they're gonna do, and it's like I try to tell my co-parent, I don't need to speak to the other adult that's in the house with you. I need to speak to you because me and you have a kid together. This other person that's living with you has no rights. So I was kind of able to get it taken care of as far as the kids and what this other person was doing inside the house with them. But you can only go so far because you're not inside the house, and then you don't really have rights as far as the house and as far as the premises of where they live. But what you do have rights of it if you feel that your kid is in danger. So you want to make sure that you speak to either a paralegal or some type of lawyer about that so they can draft the proper paperwork to make sure that your kids are safely taken care of at all times. Number three, when your kids are playing outside, what you want to do is you want to make sure that your kids are protected. And what I mean by that is my kids were playing outside. They were playing with some other kids. And there was an incident where one of the kids had some paper outside, and some paper from it's like a spiral or a binder that they had. And some of the kids were rolling it up and they were lighting it up, trying to act like they were smoking and stuff like that. I didn't know about this incident until later on, when I went outside and I was talking to my son about it. But he's actually the one that told me about it. I thought it was pretty interesting. Not interesting they were doing it, But he just told me, yeah, Dad, they were rolling it up and they were acting like they were smoking it and stuff like that. But he said, I didn't do it or anything. And I said, oh, why not? He said, smoking's bad. You could die early. I was like, yeah, I mean, that's true. I understand. So I always try to make sure when my kids are outside, I don't watch them 24/7 when they're outside because I want them to have their freedom and spend time with their friends. But what I do is like every 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 15, 30 minutes, I go and I check on them to make sure that they're good and they're okay. And especially when my younger one, the 4-year-old, is outside, I try to make sure that the older one is always with him. And if he goes out, the younger one goes outside by himself, then I try to make sure I follow along with him since he's younger. I don't want anything to happen to him. Now, my 8-year-old is like, hey, just go outside. You know what to do. Watch your brother. Or if something happens, just come and tell me. But for the most part, I'm always outside with them and in and out, just kind of watching them. And you just want to make sure, you have kidnappings, different things like that. So you just want to make sure that your kids are just taken care of because sometimes you don't know your neighbors and you don't know the people in the community. So you always want to make sure that your kids are just in a safe environment and that they're just playing with their friends, but just making sure that everything is okay as far as making sure that nothing happens to them. Number 4, what your kids watch. And this, I don't even know if a lot of people even know about this, and you may or may not support this as a parent. I don't know. But I try to monitor as much as I can what my kids watch. There was an incident when, I don't know if this is a new Power Ranger thing because of this whole gay agenda thing that they pushing here in America, maybe across the world too, I'm not sure. But there was an instance with one of the episodes where it was like I was in the other room, but I was kind of going back and forth while my younger son was watching Power Rangers. And then one of the Power Rangers was like, oh, this woman, we wanted her to spend time with us on Power Rangers, like the woman inside of the Power Rangers video. But then the other Power Ranger was like, but now we see why she didn't want to spend time with us. So all of a sudden I see one of the Power Rangers get up and then another one, she gets up too, and like they holding hands together. I didn't see him kiss or nothing like that, but I was like, this is definitely a new Power Rangers, because I know, and I kept looking, I said, is that a woman? And sure enough, it was a woman. Now, I don't know what's going on or why that's being taught, but that's not something that I agree with, and that's not something that I promote. So these new Power Ranger episodes, I don't know what's going on with that. Like back when I was a kid and I was watching Power Rangers, I mean, we had Mr. Rogers and all that kind of stuff. They weren't showing a lot of these different things, trying to push this gay agenda. So just make sure that you're always monitoring what your kids are watching, because it may be something that you don't want them to watch, and then later on they're asking questions to you, or they're asking their friends about it, and maybe their friends might be teaching them certain things that you don't agree with. And this is why I say, just watch, monitor what your kids are watching. You don't have to be overbearing and just stand all over them and stuff like that. But sometimes look to see, is it a PG TV show or movie? Or is it PG-13? Is it G? Just monitor what they look and just make sure it's geared within the direction of what it is that you believe in as a parent, and make sure it matches up with your beliefs and values. So again, we'll go over everything again. So protecting your kids is top. It's one of the main priorities for you. So number 1, educational rights. I briefly talked about that. Number 2, your parental rights. Number 3, playing outside with friends, your kids playing outside. And then number 4, watch your kids. What your kids watch. Make sure that you're monitoring what your kids are watching. And that's it. Thanks for watching the video. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share, tell your friends about this. I'm just out here trying to help other fathers become better fathers. And that's it. Thanks. Bye.